Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Please like, subscribe, consider becoming a member to the channel if you enjoy the content, and give me a follow across all social media platforms. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Caroline Dubois. What more can I say about Caroline? Right now, Caroline Dubois is being called everything. Everything. From the future of boxing to something even bigger. Boxing Jesus. But is the hype real? You know, I'm going to try to break down her elite performance against Terri Harper, her rising confidence, and why some believe she has no ceiling. Plus the controversy surrounding Baumgardner's past test results and why Dubois continues to call her out. Is this the next mega fight in women's boxing? Some would say so. They're not even talking about Clarissa right now. And that's a big damn deal. When the internet stops talking about Clarissa Shields, that means something seismic has shifted. Now, let's understand this, right? Boxing Jesus is in hyper-reality when it comes to Caroline Dubois. We gotta address it straight up, you know what I'm saying? Caroline Dubois is starting to get talked about like she's something more than just a contender, more than just a champion, more than just a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Fans, with their very bold voices, they're starting to call her the boxing Jesus. Now that sounds crazy at first, but when you really sit down and you watch her, like I watched her today, I really paid attention. You start to understand where that energy's coming from. I'm being honest with you. That skill set that she has people talking. You know, you got to try to break that shit down piece by piece. You got offense. Dubois doesn't just throw punches. You watched it today against Terri Harper. Building and attack. Sharp combinations, smart punch selection, knows when to step on the gas, double jab, triple jab, left hand, going to the body. When she was slipping Harper's shots, getting on the inside, working. I mean, just patience, composure. You know, she's not reckless. She is not reckless. She is calculated violence. The only thing I'll say is after she dropped Harper, she didn't just drop her. She hurt her. She hurt her bad. But she got excited. She showed a lot of emotion, which is to be expected because the buildup was pretty damn intense. But she got excited. She showed a lot of emotion. And she started to showboat a little bit. And that's something that she needs to nip that in the bud. Stay locked in all the time. But when she got to doing the inside fighting, I noticed that Harper was having some success. But that's the only time Harper really had any success. But Harper was trying to counterpunch her. We were talking about this during the fight. But at the end of the day, that offense of Caroline Dubois, that power, I'm telling you right now, she is calculated violence. Now her defense, now this is where the shit gets scary. She's not just offensive. She's responsible. That head movement, distance control, composure under pressure, she is already smaller than Harper. So I like the fact that she acknowledged that, she accepted that, and she was getting underneath those shots. And she wasn't panicking. She was processing. And you know what I like? When she was making Harper miss, she was making her pay, but she was making her pay to the body. She wasn't trying to make her miss and then counter her upstairs because she knew that Harper was doing a really good job at maintaining distance. So that's why I like watching Dubois double and triple the jab to get close to her. But when she was making her miss, she didn't worry about trying to come upstairs so much. Like 85% of her attack was concentrated on the body. And that just showed me that, she doesn't panic. She's not, she recognizes that, hey, I'm probably going to come up short here, but the body's there. The body's stationary. And she processes and she executes. And that confidence. There was no point in that fight where you saw her confidence sway, shift, leave the building. Hell no. The confidence was there on full display, and it's been there ever since the fight built up. Probably been there since she's been 19 years old when she first started boxing and started winning, winning fights. And then going on to have an expanded amateur career. And then as a pro, I'm not surprised at the way she's dominating. You know what I'm saying? With her, you can tell it's not just talking. It's belief. This is her life. This is what makes her happy. You know what I'm saying? Caroline Dubois, she ain't talking about, I would have been a doctor, engineer, scientist, working at McDonald's, making them hood champion burgers with an extra slice of cheese. No, she ain't talking about all that. You know what I'm saying? She's walking, she's talking, and she's fighting the way she always has. Like someone who already sees herself as the face of women's boxing. And in boxing, let me tell you, confidence plus skill is dangerous. I am dangerous. She got some Barrington Levy up in her, you know what I'm saying? Now, the Terri Harper performance. Look, Terri Harper can fight. I don't see how anyone can bash any. We talk shit, as sometimes with boxing fans. But at least let's preface everything with these are special athletes. And when they get into a ring, one person is either going to elevate and the other one's not, or you're going to see the momentum shift back and forth. But for people to come out here and say, Harper is a duck, Harper is a tool, Harper has no talent, that shit is horrible. Harper looked damn good inside there. She was in amazing shape, and she was just waiting to try to counter Dubois. And Harper was she got a couple shots in, but Dubois was just levels ahead of her, levels above her. Speed, everything was just too much. The southpaw style, it was just too much. Even the footwork, y'all see them pivots and shit? She just had too much for Harper. But I'm telling you this, put some respect on Harper's name. Every boxer, especially the ladies. How y'all can come out here and kick women, man? They're getting in the ring doing business. At least give them credit for their skill. Now, outside of the ring, they got a little Clarissa Shields in them and shit. And yeah, you can understand talking about that, but as fighters, give them that respect. You know what I mean? Dubois just showed she just showed flashes of something serious, man. That's why I'm like, she the boxing Jesus. Even in tense moments, physical exchanges, uncomfortable situations, she just stayed composed. Because there was a couple of times in there where she got touched up. And that's when she started doing the inside fight in which Harper was touching her ass up. I was like, oh, Lord, she about to get dropped, get buzzed. But what she did, she stayed composed. She showed offensive sharpness, defensive awareness. She showed mental toughness. And most importantly, she looked like she belonged at the top level. And I'm being honest with you. You know what I mean? I know there's all kind of talk. Well, she didn't knock out Harper and Baumgardner knocked her out several years ago. We'll talk about that, you know what I'm saying? But you can't compare. And I'm going to tell you why. But one thing we can talk about when comparing Dubois to other fighters is it seems that she has no ceiling. And that's real talk. I don't think she has a ceiling. I'm just being honest with you. She's young. She's a tenderoni. She's skilled. She's improving every fight. She's marketable. She's confident. I mean, she's articulate. And, not that I expect her to sound stupid, but I'm just saying, she's articulate, all right? And when you have a combination like that, that's better than a goddamn fried rice. Combination fried rice. That is it's a combination boxing, a combination fried rice. If I had to pick, I'm taking the fried rice. Y'all know that with the chicken wings. But for her as a boxer, that combination is rare. You can teach skill, you can build strength, but you cannot always manufacture presence. People either have that or they don't. And Dubois has the presence. Now, as far as I jokingly say, she put divisions, plural, on notice. And that's real talk that she's putting fighters plus or minus 20 pounds on notice. Yeah, I don't know if Dubois can go down 20 pounds, but y'all know what I'm saying. It's a bit of an exaggeration there. But I'm being honest. You know, that's how much belief there is in her ability to scale, adjust, and compete. If she can go down 20 pounds, she'll whip everybody's ass. If she can go up 20, 30, 40 pounds, she'll whip everybody's ass. You know what I'm saying? That's not normal height. You know what I'm saying? That's that we got something different here type of hype. You know what I'm saying? And I'm being real. I'm being real with y'all. Skill versus speed. The long game when it comes to Dubois. Like, where's she going to be in 5-10 years? She young, man. She a tenderoni. But I'll tell you this right here. One of the most important boxing truths. You're watching her young. The speed's going to be there for a while. The skill ain't going nowhere. The power is not going nowhere. The efficiency is not going anywhere. The timing, precision, fundamentals not going anywhere. She's still young. Her style is built on timing, precision, fundamentals. That means longevity. You know what I mean? She's not just going to be dangerous now. Remember, she's young. She's going to be dangerous for years to come. And even when the speed goes away, the legs goes away, she's still going to be a problem. Because the skill, the power, and the efficiency is never going anywhere. The speed can go away. But that skill, power, and efficiency, that shit doesn't go nowhere. Having timing, having precision, having fundamentals doesn't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you, y'all might as well buckle in because she's going to be out here doing the business and being dangerous for years to come. Now, the thing that most people want to talk about. What's up with AB? Not about billions. Alycia Baumgardner. We ain't talking about Adrian Broner. There's some controversy here because everybody wants to see Caroline Dubois and Baumgardner scrap, right? Let me just tell you this. There's some tension building. Now, Baumgardner's been in the spotlight for a while as a great fighter. And you got to give her credit for that. She's been fighting since she's been a kid. So she can scrap. But she's been in the spotlight over the past some testing results. Okay? Now here are the facts. I think it was several years ago, right? I think around July 12th or something, a few years ago. She ended up testing positive for an adverse finding for banned substances. It was 2 of them, okay? Now, the follow-up test shortly after came back negative. The WBC investigated. Baumgardner was cleared of intentional wrongdoing. Now, she has maintained she did not knowingly take anything. But this is the problem. This is the problem right here. Let me show you something. This is the issue. She tested positive for mesturolone and methinolone. The human body does not naturally create mesturolone and methinolone. These compounds are synthetic, androgen, and anabolic steroids used in medical treatment be used to treat low testosterone levels and male infertility, blah, blah, blah. The controlled substances. So the bottom line is they have been found to be used by athletes trying to gain an unfair advantage. That just doesn't look good for Baumgardner. Okay, now I'm gonna play something for you, and y'all need to listen to this. Okay, because what's her name? Caroline Dubois. She ain't playing around. She is not playing around. Let me see if I find it and play it for y'all. She doesn't want to hear any BS, anything when it comes to Alycia Baumgardner. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I got it here. I was shocked to hear her say what she said. I think I got it over here. If not, I may have it on Instagram. But okay, maybe on Instagram. But what I will tell you is, I thought I had it here on this other one, but the bottom line is she did an interview. And in the interview she was talking. And they were talking to her and asking her about Baumgardner putting out a bunch of tweets. And basically kind of just making light of Dubois not knocking out Harper. And Dubois said, because I'm not an effing cheat. Let me see if I can find that real quick. See, because now my brain going crazy because I was shocked when I saw that. Let me see if I can find it. I ain't gonna waste too much time because y'all watching the video, not for me to be here looking up stuff. But see if I can find that video. I don't know if it's this one.
Well, I'm interested in the only thing I know I'm interested in is Alycia, the Baumgardner, and I think we're going to see who truly is the best. And I believe it's me. That's the fight I want. By the end of the year, there's no need to waste time. There's no need to mess around. Like, let's make it happen. You know, the best versus the best with 5 pounds difference. She's older than me. She's more experienced than me. Let's see. You know, that's the fight I want. That's the fight I want.
So that's what she's calling for the fight. But there's an interview. I'm not gonna worry about it, but I'll probably during the live I'll show it to you, where the guy asked her about Baumgardner putting out all those tweets, kind of making light of her performance and knocking out Harper. Caroline Dubois said, because I'm not an effing cheat. She was like, Baumgardner's an effing cheat. And she said, look at her performances before she tested positive. Look at her performances after she tested positive. She was like, that's all I needed to see. That's all I need to see. So Caroline Dubois got some fire in her. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's interesting is, although Baumgardner said she didn't knowingly take anything, there's still some questions that still exist. Because even with that outcome, some fans and fighters, you know, like Dubois, they still question things like, how does this shit end up in your body that aren't naturally produced by the body? And there really was no explanation. You know, so it's not fully clear publicly. And that creates doubt even if no wrongdoing was proven. It just creates doubt. Because you had this test that comes back with these 2 substances. And I think it was, shortly thereafter, she did another test and it came back negative. So a lot of people, they're not buying that. And Dubois sure as hell ain't buying that. For me, I don't know. I'm just watching. It's entertaining to me. But I'm wondering, you know, I wish there was a bit more information on how those substances ended up in her system. But look, this ain't nothing being made up. It's the truth. You know, solve for X, solve for the unknown. We can't, and it hasn't been. It's just kind of gone away. Now, Dubois has a perspective. From her side, the mindset is simple. She's chasing greatness. She wants clean competition. She's not afraid to call things out. In her view, she's protecting the integrity of the sport. And I think that's commendable. But I'm going to tell you this, right? There is no official ruling that Baumgardner cheated intentionally. So I want to make that crystal clear. But the reality is this. There was a test that did come back positive for those two substances that I mentioned. So this whole thing with Baumgardner and Dubois saying, yo, she's an effing cheat, it still becomes a perception battle, a narrative war, a promotion storyline. And in boxing, that sells fights. And this fight here is selling itself. Clarissa Shields and Shadesha Green selling itself. So to me, the fight makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Dubois versus Baumgardner. That's the fight. The women boxing is bubbling. But that's the fight. You got skill versus power. You got confidence versus confidence. You got narrative versus narrative. And if you ask Dubois, when she says skill versus power, she would say, well, who's the skill and who's the power? Be like, you're skill, she's power. Like, I'm skill and power. She'd be like, she's a cheat. Dubois is deadly, boy. But right now, you also have narrative versus narrative, but you got some controversy that we can add to the mix. And that's not just a fight. That's an event. I am telling y'all, start paying attention to women's boxing. This shit is more juicy than these guys out here. So, with all that being said, is she really boxing Jesus? You know, let's just try to bring it all home now. Is Caroline perfect? No. Caroline Dubois is not perfect. Is she proven at the highest level yet? At a high level, yes. The highest, I mean, not fully, but she's proven that she's there. But I'll say this. All that being said, she does have elite skill, rapid growth, confidence, star power, defense, conditioning. She has the right attitude, the right mentality, and she has a commitment to her craft. So yes. That's why people are starting to talk crazy. Because sometimes in boxing, when something feels different, like you see Caroline Dubois, the boxing Jesus, something feels different, right? When it feels different, it usually is. And I'm going to say it right now, Caroline Dubois is different. She the boxing Jesus. She finally here, folks. Took it to the stupid. She finally here, folks. And Clarissa Shields is saying, man, please. Tried to tell y'all. Yeah, you did. In the breeze.